All right, folks, welcome to episode 5 of Allergic to Silverware. Have to start off by congratulating Keith on the Irish Cup success last week. Haven't been able to get in contact with him until yesterday. What a month you've had up there in East Belfast, lad. You had the 12th a couple of weeks ago, then you won the Irish Cup on Friday. Absolute steams. Like, tell us about it, Cowan. Come on, the people want to know. What was it like?
The 12th or the...
I'm only messing with the 12th. The one in the cup.
The same every year. No. Look here. It's been a brilliant. It's been a tough week, but it's been thoroughly enjoyable. I suppose we had the semi-final against Cliftonville on the Monday night, which worked out really well for us, and maybe a few people. I've never got more advice on how to hit a penalty. If you want to,
I'm glad you brought it up, Cowan, because I didn't realise skip over the semi-final.
Well, there's no point with you. And I'd like to thank everybody, because there's never been. I've never got such advice. I didn't realise there was as many penalty specialists as there are in the county, and
everyone is
almost happened mad. But look, it was all about the performance, I suppose, as well, and the lads got us through, and it was great. And the final then was a great experience on Friday night, and it was great to have my family there, my girlfriend there, Adele, and she loved it, and my parents there as well. Obviously, it was great, and just to be on the winning side, it was amazing feeling, and be able to lift that cup, and as impressive trophy as it is, and to bring it back to the Oval and the fans and the bus, and it was just what a welcome. It was just something that I never thought that I would have, or that I would experience. So it was just.
Well, I've seen the WhatsApp videos you sent me of the fans outside the Oval. It looked absolutely unbelievable. They're actually, obviously we know they're a big club, but they're such a well supported club up there. I mean, that's their first club up there, Glentoran. It's not a Premiership club or a Rangers or something. Their number one team is Glentoran. There must have been 5,000 or 6,000 at the Oval that night, was there?
It was unbelievable. It was coming back in. We couldn't believe, because we were still, we thought maybe as you go down that, there's a wee kind of street down, the Mersey Street there, just on the way down into the Oval. We thought you might see a few people there, but we were still well back kind of on the Newton Ayres Road, and they were all coming out, and they were flares and, singing and chanting and battering the bus, and lads running up, a few lads running up and down the side of the bus, didn't see the curbs, and they were kind of tripping over. Obviously had a few beers and stuff and enjoying themselves, but it was just a great thing to be a part of,
And did they see the fans, Cowan? Did they watch the final and the Oval and the supporters club there? Is that where they watched the match, or how did it work there? No.
Not in the Oval. I think there's a couple of supporters clubs dotted around that part of Belfast. So they were in there, and we were, obviously a couple of lads in there would have mates and stuff, and they were sending on videos and things, and just the scenes in there, the singing and the chanting, and the lads, up on top of tables, and just as you say, that it's their first club. It's not a Man United, it's not a Liverpool, it's not a Rangers or Celtic or whatever it is. That's their first love, really, and they just. To see the amount of them out there, and to see how happy it made them, and wanting photographs and wanting autographs and things like that. There, it was just to make people that happy by playing football. It's an amazing feeling, So
as you say too, Cowan, I mean, obviously you've been playing football a long time, and you had a couple of great nights at Harps with promotions and different things. But winning a cup is special, and you haven't been up there that long. There's some players that play for 20 years and don't get a chance to win anything. So I'm delighted for you, because obviously I know the amount of effort you're making travelling up there from Donegal to Belfast. So you're an elite club now. I know Gorman won a couple at Linfield, but I don't know if there's too many other Donegal men that have Irish Cup winners medals. So
I'm not sure either. Look, it's great to be mentioned.
Well, we're putting it out there now. I'm sure we'll find out. There'll be some stato. But Michael McHugh, he's our Melton man. He played up in the north for a while, didn't he? Michael.
Yeah, Mixer and Melton is right. You're right. He was with Coleraine, wasn't he? Was he with Coleraine?
He was at Coleraine and was he at Oma Town as well for a while?
He was at Oma Town as well. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I know. I was getting a load of text messages and stuff from the boys from Gorman and from Michael McHugh as well, wishing me luck and all that there throughout the week. Like, so, no, it's nice to be mentioned in the same conversation as those lads. Like, you know, they've obviously had brilliant careers. Like, so.
And
before
we move on to Paul Hegarty and all them boys, you're obviously European football now. Like, that's unbelievable. Like, to see it.
An exciting prospect. Look, again, it's something I thought was, you know, out of reach, something that I actually never really considered or talked about, or even, you know, but look, it's, you know, we're obviously back in. We didn't have a long off. We were back in on the Wednesday during the week there, and you know, it's full scale now. Everybody's just focused on.
When do you know when
you're? We're the draw is Sunday the 9th of August, and the the game then will be on the 20th, I think. So a couple of you're in along with like teams from the Faroe Islands, Gibraltar, San Marino, and maybe Andorra as well. So
right, so you would have to navigate your way past, you know, one of those teams, and then you could potentially get, because I think Crusaders got Wolves last year, didn't they, in the Europa?
Yeah, Crusaders got Wolves last year, you know, and I think they had a decent enough result against them at home, but I think
out there in the Molyneux as well, they didn't score till later on, I think.
Yeah. So look, anything's possible, and you never know who you get. Like, you know, these earlier rounds are all winnable games. You know, they're teams at the same level as themselves, obviously.
Yeah.
But then as you go up, it would be nice to get a big fish, you know.
But I know, back to Felix, any funny stories? And obviously he threw you in as a raw centre midfielder. Did he ever give you a bit of a, you know, he wasn't, well, I'm just going to assume he didn't give you a rollicking in the dressing room, because that wasn't really his style. But
no, Felix never. Felix never got too excited, you know. Shouting wouldn't have been the way that he would have done things at all. Very cool, very, you know yourself what he's like, you know.
Magnum P.I, Tom Selleck.
Oh, that was very cool. Always with a cup of tea in his hand, you know, walking around, just kind of, you know, it's almost like he was walking the music every time, and you know, that he was going into the dressing room, and it was obviously his own music, and it was him that was singing the song, you know. So
he was swinging side to side.
Definitely, very much. He just kind of floated into the room most people. So, I thought, you know, obviously at the time, you know, I thought, look, great, what a career he's had in management and playing, and, you know, a legend all over Ireland, like, you know, for what he's done in the game, and to, you know, I suppose that be your first manager, it was a bit of a real kind of, oh my God, like, you know, what can I learn from this guy? What can he teach me? You know, but maybe me being, you know, not as experienced, you know, maybe I wasn't really the sponge that I needed to be. I was just kind of like looking around me, and all these guys that I would have went to watch, I was now playing with, and didn't think that it was, you know, really on the cards. Obviously, I was playing hockey and hadn't really thought much about playing football, but like, I thought the way that he would have, the way that he'd done things, it was all very cool and very relaxed. And I remember actually on a pre-season tour, we were up in Galway, and we were out in the training pitch. It might have been up at Salt Hill Devon. They had that kind of they had a couple of pitches and like a big leisure centre up there. So out in a couple of pitches, and Eddie Sadak was taking the training. Felix was just doing his usual, kind of cup of tea in hand, walking around, and we're doing some sort of shooting drill, or it was like a pass to play, ended with a shot, and McHugh was taking a shot, Kevin McHugh was taking a shot, and whatever way he was receiving the ball, Felix was like, no, Kevin. so he's like with over cup of tea in hand, and whatever, he's like, play the ball into me. So whoever it was passed the ball in. Felix wanted to take the ball on the outside of the foot and kind of turn around the corner, and whatever way he's kind of caught the ball on the grass, and it's kind of a bit sticky or whatever. So he's kind of rolled over the ball, and he's kind of stumbled. So he stumbled, and it kind of fallen over, but tried to keep himself up, and then tried to balance the cup of tea as well. Eventually, he's just given up, and he's just hit the deck bag. The tea goes up in the air, all lands on top of him, and he's kind of getting himself up off the ground, I guess, here. At this stage, the boys are gone, like, you know, and he would not like that. He would not like the lads having a laugh at his expense. So the boys are gone. He's hitting the deck, tees everywhere, and he's getting up, but it's like dripping off his nose.
I'd say McHugh was loving that. Thinking,
McHugh was
you were trying to show me how to score.
McHugh was just like that. Felix was it just like that. Just I got there. He's like, go for a run. So we were all off jogging. You can imagine the boys on stitches. Like Hardy made it around the other side of the pitch. Oh, it was hilarious. Like so, but that was an introduction into him. And I remember then that evening we had a team meeting, and I was kind of just first probably ever team meeting, sitting in, and likes of Paddy McGranahan and Johnny Minow, Decky Boyle, like all those lads, the top players, like Luca and all those lads, like you're just like thinking, Jesus, this is great here, like and then so we're sitting in, and he comes in, and he starts the meeting, and sort of like listening, and he's like points at me, and he's like, this young man here can be the best player in the League of Ireland. Right? And I'm like, what? Where's he going with this? Like, and like one match, I played one sub appearance, and he's like, this lad can be the best player in the League of Ireland. You know why? Because he wants to be. Like, and I was just sort of like,
were you didn't know where to look, like?
Didn't know where this was going. The boys are all looking at me as if to say, who's this wee boy here? Like, he hasn't kicked the ball, and now he's going to be the best player. He's going to be the best player. And I was just
no pressure.
Kind of like that kind of giddy laugh. You're kind of like, you're like, what did I do? What did I say? You stand up. Yes, I am. Yes, I am going to be the best. You don't know what to do.
Oh,
so it was like
an awkward enough situation there, saying that.
Very awkward. I didn't know what to say. Like, and I felt it didn't do me any favors. I don't think with the rest of the lads either. Like, because
they did not, but they kind of like, who's this lad?
Well, I felt like they didn't really, warm to me much after that there, because I'm not sure. Like, they didn't really know me. They wouldn't appreciate, I suppose, coming in off that there, because like they just won the first division.
Yeah.
That season. So they were all kind of like, maybe expecting a few pats in the back or whatever, and then they just bring in this young lad who hasn't kicked the ball, not even going to be the best player on the under 21s team, and they're telling him that he's going to be the best player in the League of Ireland. So I have a story actually that involves Felix. It's actually Kevin McHugh's story, and I'm kind of stealing it off Kevin, but I'm sure he won't mind. He'll have plenty of other good ones as well, I'm sure. But this one is. It was around the time of the Oma bombing, unfortunately, and they had organised that some of the Premier League stars would come over and play like a select team to play against Oma Town as a fundraiser. Yeah. So for whatever reason, Felix was entrusted with picking up David Ginola from the airport. So I don't know if Felix has put his hand up and kind of said that he would do it, or that he was.
Felix must have been really involved in organising the match. I'm sure, wasn't
Probably,
he?
I'm sure he was. Yeah, maybe with his work through the radio and through the media and stuff like that. Maybe he was part of that sort of side of it. So maybe he thought that Ginola would, or he'd be the only person that Ginola would recognise as well and make him feel comfortable.
Oh, definitely. He'd definitely be of that opinion.
So that was fine. So. Felix goes to the airport, picks up Ginola anyway, and comes walking out, and Ginola's there, like, you can imagine, like shirt open, like, and a chains, and he's got like this hat, like a fedora type hat, so he's obviously all about himself, Premier League star, and he's got the hair and all that there. So he comes to the airport.
He doesn't know Felix from Adam, like. Clearly.
I don't know. I don't want to say that. I wouldn't do that to Felix. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he knows everything about him. He used to have Felix posters on his wall from the World Cup. I'm sure he did. So no, I don't think that he knows that he knows Felix. But not by the way that he approached it. So Ginola comes out of the airport. He's got the bag and all the gear, and he's kind of walks up, and Felix kind of signals him over. So over he goes, and. He opens the boot anyway, and he kind of pops the bag in the boot, and Felix obviously jumps in the front seat, and Ginola gets in the back. So that's grand. Felix is thinking this is a bit strange. Ginola's in the back seat. What's he would have sat up beside me? Like, but obviously Ginola thinks he's the driver. So they drive away to this hotel. Yeah, so they drive to this hotel, obviously where all the players are meeting and stuff like that there. and they get out, and Felix just sort of, not much chatter to David, probably on the way to the thing. He's probably on his phone or whatever. Felix sort of start the conversations, nothing much happening. So they get to the hotel, and Felix jumps out of the car. Probably just supposed to walk straight into the lobby, like, and he hears this voice. Excuse me, driver. What about my bag? And he just turned and he goes, "I'm not your driver, son. And take off that silly hat, would you?" So that story obviously come about by Felix has obviously told this story to somebody, and this is the story that whole thing's transpired. Like,
silly hat.
But that'll be him. Like, he'd have no problem telling anybody what to do.
And like people that don't know Felix as well, Felix would be disgusted that Ginola would have thought he was a taxi driver. Like,
absolutely, 100%. He'd be thinking, "You sit up front with me, David. We'll chat about the World Cup or something like that." But that would be him.
That was a couple of cracking stories. I suppose a few that I have about him, just going back to his desire for having a wee cup of tea and stuff and walking around.
Yeah.
And on the training pitch, he intervened in a drill with McHugh. Well, fast forward 6 years later or whatever, and he's in with us. And we're doing like this, the patterns of play. You do like where it starts out, Kieran Gal, roll it to you, into midfield, into the 10 or whatever else. So I was doing these drills, coming in off the back four, getting it off you and Packy Mealy because you couldn't pass water, and knocking it into the feet and whatnot. And just out of nowhere, and Felix has obviously seen something that he doesn't like. And like you done earlier with McHugh, the old finger wag came up. And just out of nowhere, he goes, "Nah, stop. Not in there, Forks. Not in there." And I was a bit taken back. I didn't give the ball away and I didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, what's wrong with you? He's like, "Forks, not in there. See if you could play in there, son. You would not be playing here. Wouldn't be playing here." And I'm just like, I can't believe he said it. Like,
what does that do? What does that do for a young Mark Farker in that situation?
Like this what was weird too, because the way Felix was, he would always tell you to go and play and express yourself.
Oh yeah.
I think this was actually probably the start of where our relationship deteriorated, and it was bizarre. Like, because he was, I don't know if you remember, when he first came in, he I was in and out of the team at the start, and then he rang me one time. I was at college, and he just, pure random Felix phone call, goes, "Forks, did you play right wing last year against Derry City in a League Cup match?" And I was like, "I actually did." Like, and I remember I done quite well. And he's like, "Okay, son, you're playing there tomorrow night against Athlone."
Yeah.
And remember, we beat Athlone, and it was the first time we'd won a game all season. It was like the 12th game. And anyway, I played that night, played well. He was buzzing off me, came in after. We played Mon the following week. He was praising me. But then this incident on the training ground happened. Like, just out of nowhere. If you could play in there, son, you wouldn't be playing, and you wouldn't be playing for Harps more or less. And walks away, flippant and dismissive like he does. And like, what is going on here? And then I think we played Wexford, whatever. I'm going on a tangent here, but we beat Wexford 2-0. And then, do you remember he brought on the boys from Sligo? One of them's playing for Bohemians now, Kevin Devaney. Gary O'Mahony and Kern and that, and Gary Kern and that. So we were playing Salt Hill, and he said, "Look, lads, I'm going to make some changes. I'm bringing in the 4 lads from Sligo. Want to give them game time. I think we'll beat Salt Hill with them in the team, and it'll be a good opportunity to bed them in. Whatever, grand." So we said, if anyone's left out of the team that won against Wexford before the break, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So I was one of the ones left out of the team, and we won 2-0 or whatever. And then the following week, we're playing Monaghan or somewhere, and I'm thinking, I have a good chance being back in the team here.
Yeah.
Bomb squad. Not even on the bench. Not even on the bench. There's nowhere worse than being bombed from a squad. Like, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it. I'm there thinking, he's giving the lads a wee game. I'll be straight back in because he loves me. Like, and he can see in the dressing room sort of pulling, like, a few faces because I'm raging. Like, and he goes, "Not happy, Fork, son? You're not happy?" He goes, "You were left out of the team last week. You never came knocking on my door." And I was like, "Felix, you told me that you were going to make changes and that if anyone was out of the team, you shouldn't have accepted it, son. You've been the best player since I came here, and you just accepted it. You don't care enough. And I'm sat like, what the fuck's going on here? Like all these weird mind games. So I've from him playing, him loving me, playing every week. Then he tells me that he's going to leave people out. I react properly. Don't spit the toys out of the pram. Don't kick off. But he perceives that as me for some reason not caring. Bombed me completely from the squad. And from then on, then I just me and our relationship sort of deteriorated. But like it's funny now to talk about him, and I look back, like I do, like I did enjoy probably working under him, like in terms of there was always something. Like there was never a dull moment with him, like because you couldn't read him, like. You can say a lot of things about Felix, but one thing you can never say is he wasn't boring. Like before we move off Felix, I remember you telling me one, like it was probably sums him up as well. Did he bring himself on in a pre-season friendly game or something before?
I remember this one. Yeah.
Tell us that one.
No, that's right. So again, this is the season that I've
that you're going to be the best player in the League of Ireland. That's
it. So it's kind of the end of the pre-season tour. The Felix Healy pre-season tour that we were on. So it ended up the last pre-season game before the league started was in Coleraine. So that's grand. It's kind of so they have like obviously one team will play the first half and one team will play the second half. So the whole squad gets a game, gets their fitness and whatever else. So I was in the second half. The second half of the game, and centre midfield again, and that's grand. So about 15 minutes to go, the board goes up, and who comes trotting out of the tunnel with like the tight shorts? He had massive quads, these massive legs. He's got these wee tight shorts, socks just pulled up, no shin guards, boots, and he's got the Coleraine jersey on. So he's obviously arranged it, so he's going to come on and play the last 15 minutes for Coleraine.
This is just to remind people, he's the manager of Finn Harps in a pre-season game.
Yeah, he's the manager of Finn Harps. We're about to go into the first League of Ireland match next week, and he's thought no better time to bring myself on and a wee cameo against Harps for Coleraine, obviously being the Coleraine man.
He's a legend up there, so they must have said, like do whatever you want.
Oh, brilliant, yeah. So that's grand. So he comes on, and I'm kind of trying to match against him. Like, so, obviously he's playing centre of the park, I'm playing centre of the park. So that's grand. So play anyway, and he's just kind of, he's not even running really anyway. He's just kind of stepping like a wee kind of trot on him. He's trotting about, and somebody gives him the ball, and that's fine. He just passes it on, and it's kind of going through my head here, like, how do I approach this? How actually am I going to play this here if I have to challenge or whatever? And as luck would have it, or wouldn't have it, the ball breaks, right? So it's one of them ones where he's kind of going to get there, but if I put any sort of pace on at all, I'm turning into a 50-50. Like, so as you do, you just get a reaction. You just kind of go for the ball, and I'm thinking like, if I smash him here now in the middle of the pitch, that's it. Like that's happened. And on his wee show, on his testimonial, almost, that I'm going to empty him in the middle of the field. So I get there and I just kind of stand it up, and he just kind of nicks it, just kind of flicks it away with his toes, kind of flicks it away to the right back or something like that there, and we just kind of just trot on to get there. That was the last.
You noticeably put on the brakes, like, have you?
Oh yeah, I've just hit the brakes and just kind of stood him up, like. And he's kind of just got it and just sort of nicked it away outside of the boot. So that's grand. The game's pretty much over then after that. And he goes, so we kind of were shaking hands or whatever, and we're almost walking off the pitch just almost at the same time. And he goes, young fella. And I just kind of turn and he goes, if you ever pull out of a tackle like that again, you will never play for me. But thanks. I know why you done it. Like there was one that you told me before, maybe, about Felix, about the time that he was selected to go to the World Cup.
Oh, that was a brilliant one. Like,
do you want to take us through that one?
Story a lot, like, so that you definitely, that's what you brought up. But I think it's brilliant because obviously, I think anyone that refers to himself in third party as well, smells himself a wee bit like he used
Slightly,
to
yeah.
Felix like in a story like which I could never get my head around like. So this was the one particular story where he was talking about how he got in the Northern Ireland squad. It was actually a great story. Like he obviously played for Northern Ireland in the World Cup when he was at Coleraine, and they had Northern Ireland squad had European Cup winners and players at Manchester United. So again, shows you how good a player he was. But he's in the dressing room and he's going, so guys, just like he was talking about football. Is my connection all right, actually?
Hey, no, you're good, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Good.
It came up there.
It's because I was so still. Is that what you thought I was kind of froze?
It came up that your internet connection's unstable. But anyway, so Felix is in before the match, and he was kind of making a point about, you should never give up, and like every game you play, you never know who's watching, or there's, you can always deliver a performance, even if you're in a team that's not playing well. Like you can deliver an individual performance that can stand out. So he was like, I'm going to tell you a story about Felix. Like Matt, like what a way to start it. Right? I'm going to tell you a story about Felix. So Felix is playing in Cardiff. I think it was in Cardiff. They were in Cardiff one night. Northern Ireland versus Wales. Wales are 3-0 up. All the big guys, your O'Neills, your McElroys, they didn't want to know. They didn't want to know. Felix kept getting on the ball. Felix kept passing it, kept trying to do the right things. Then after the match, Billy Bingham came over, shook my hand and said, "Well done, son. You're going to World Cup in Spain." And like, I was like, at the start, like, that's a great story in a way that, like, fair enough, like, to get in the World Cup, and he played at the World Cup, amazing.
Yeah.
During the story, it was like, Felix kept getting on the ball. And I
That's
remember him going, all the big guys, the McElroys, the O'Neills, they didn't want to know. Felix kept getting on it, and I'm just sitting there going, like, when I look back now, I'm like, what am I like? What a character!
Unbelievable.
Anybody else? I actually love to go for a beer with him, like, and I'm going to throw out them here now because
I'd love to get him on here.
Part 2 of this podcast, we're going to look at Paul Hegarty. Again, I think he played. He played with Felix in that Derry team. I think I don't know if he was in the treble winning team, but obviously Higgsy, what a player. He had a lot of success as a manager as well. He's currently Ollie's number 2. A great character as well, but a complete madman. Like I've never seen him not agitated.
I remember a couple of episodes. So he was being on the receiving end, or almost been on the receiving end, in one instance where I think it was myself and Mickey Funston were maybe injured. We might have been injured, and it was a Sunday morning training session. So we might have had a night out the night before, and those sessions were just to get everybody in and make sure everybody was getting a wee sweat on, and making sure that if they had enjoyed themselves at the weekend, which was fine too to an extent, as long as it was just one night, that you were back in on Sunday and you were getting out of your system, and then you were getting yourself right, and then ready to go again Monday then for the week ahead. But myself and Mickey were injured, so we weren't training on the Sunday, but obviously you still had to be there to get your treatment and that. So we've been in, and we went in to see McGlynn. So Mickey's gave us his assessment or whatever, and we might have went out and maybe ran a couple of laps around Finn Park and a bit of stretching, and then we were like, geez, surely we can head on here now. So we've gone into the showers, and we're in the shower, and next thing we hear the van just tear up. We used to drive the wee caddy.
They were park training, so he's looking for you too, is he?
Yeah, he's gunning for us because we haven't told him. We've told McGlynn, obviously we've reported to him, but he doesn't know that we're not training. So we bit of breakdown in communication there, maybe our fault. So we've got into the shower and just sort of get a wash, whatever. Next thing we've heard the caddy fucking pull up exhaust, quite a big hole in the exhaust too, screeching tires outside Finn Park, along the out grit there. And he's like out, slams the door. Next thing the door bangs open. He's out here, Fonstein, Cowan, where are you? So we've gone, and just pure fear and just pure reaction. We've gone hid in behind. There's like the big water tank used to be in Finn Park there, the big sort of
and the showers
and the showers in there. So we've gone and hid in there. So instead of just maybe coming out and saying, you know,
we're injured,
just,
like that's
explaining everything, we've just gone and hidden straight away because he sounds like he's on a mission. He's going to kill somebody. So then McGlynn McGlynn intercepts him and then says, "Oh, I think the boys might be away." He says, "Where are they?" And it's like, "Oh, they're injured. 2 boys are injured." "Oh, fucking nobody told me. Like that. So I mean, this is all kind of happened just at the door of the changing room. So we're kind of cowering in behind the shower. Like, two of us, not a stitch on us. Like, you know, he catches us in there, you know, and our flip flops covered in suds. He's like, what's going on here, boys? What the hell's going on here?
And two grown men hiding.
Oh,
like
100%. Yeah. So we're kind of covered in there. We're thinking, like, if he catches us in there, we are dead. Like, he's going to kill us. Like, so McGlynn, fair play to McGlynn, gets him calmed down, and he's that's all right. And grand job, he gets back in the van, and we hear him tear off, like, and we just jump out. Whatever slugs are just getting washed up, towel up, fucking dried up, and just straight out of there as quick as he could. Like,
but it's mad, like, you know, like you're obviously an adult and you're an adult then, you're a teacher and that, but like when you're in that environment, a football environment, it's almost like being brought back to school again. And like
100%, yeah.
Hegarty's like the principal or the headmaster, and it's like you and Funsty are like two wee boys hiding in the shower from him. Like,
that's it, exactly. It's the fear, like, because you're just like in any other walk of life, you would just sort of like, if somebody was, you know, you would kind of meet fire with fire almost, wouldn't you? And you know, if somebody was having a go at you, you would kind of stand up to them and have a go back or whatever. But in that situation, you just be like, oh, you know, it's just the fear factor comes in it. Like, he has all the power. We're just kind of like, you know,
dressing rooms they're a dictatorship, like.
100%.
There's no room for discussion, like, and no, Hegarty though, as you say, like, there's that, I think that word there, fear, was a big one with him, because he was, as I said, like, you couldn't really have a laugh on him, not in a bad way, but it's just he was that intense all the time and demanded stuff for you. But I owe him a lot because he obviously gave me my debut at Harps, and so I owe him that. But I remember one time down in Limerick, he came in and he had the tie on him, like, and we had a bad first half. We were 1-0 down, but I was in the first line, and I used to get this a lot. He
wouldn't strike me as somebody who wears the suit very well.
No, he was pulling at the tie, and the knot was down here, and he was going, "I can't watch you any longer, Forks. I can't watch you any longer." And I used to get the shout from him, and used to get it from Gal as well. You know, the one where you've 10 minutes to sort yourself out. Like, as a centre half, you wouldn't really get that much for that. But maybe it was just me. I used to get it, but I was like, you have 10 minutes to sort yourself out, Forks. I can't watch you any longer. And he's pulling away at the tie. I can't watch you. Hey, you're not with enough shite. And you're walking around there, throwing your arms up in the air, petulant, can't stand it. Right, so that's like just waiting for him to stop, but like he's just non-stop. Anyway, I go out in the second half, end up playing well. We're down in Limerick, and we drew 1 each. Good result away from home. Down in anytime you get a result away from home, especially Limerick, good side. Comes back in, I'm thinking, right, might get a wee pat in the back here. Comes back in. Why do I have to come in here at half time kicking and shouting and screaming at you to get you play like that in the second half? What's wrong with you? Right? So he's proper raging, like, again. I'm thinking, Jesus, I can't fucking win here. Like, I can't win. And he's going mad, but he said, I asked the question, like, going, and I'm thinking he's looking for an answer. He goes, why? Like, why? And there's a bit of a pause, right? There's a bit of a pause. Now, I should just keep my mouth shut, and then he's going to on this next round. But he goes, why, Fox? And there's a wee pause, and I go, got me second win. He's genuinely, he's shocked. And what he's not looking for an answer there. That's the rhetorical question. Not for an answer, but then the answer I've given him has disgusted him even more. He goes, what? Second what? You got your what? And I had to say it again. I said, second one. The second one. Then he starts. He goes, you get that after 15 fucking minutes. What are you doing? And he started, I think Gal was his manager. He's like, what am I working with here, boys? What am I working with here? Second one after an hour. And in fairness,
that's gas. You're an intelligent man, folks. You're an intelligent man. You should know the difference between a fucking rhetorical question and an actual frame question. Like,
it was stupid. And as soon as I said it, I was like, what have I just said? Second wind. Like,
I think everybody else is kind of going, oh.
What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, but he was, as you said, I owe him a lot, and great time for him, and he was just mad. Like, I remember the one fella that used to get it non-stop. Like, honestly, Cowan, you came the season after when he was gone, was Brawley. Like, literally, the game would be on the other side, the ball would be on the other side of the pitch, and Higgsy would just be standing shouting at Brawley, like, not saying it, he would just go, Brawley, and like everyone, it was a joke in like it was a running joke that just like brawls just get shouted at. But I remember we were in Hegarty Park, there was something happened, and Higgsy's coming in, like the training was not good or whatever, and he just, like, everyone was shit, but he just starts digging out Brawley, like, just for no reason, like, but he loved, like, Brawley played every week, so like Higgsy was a fan of him. But I suppose one of those things, Higgsy knew he could get more out of him, or wanted to get more out of him, so he was with him, I think
he did kind of have that way. He did kind of have that way with a few lads, like, 100%. And he would ride them pretty hard, like, with getting on their case, because there were just a few lads that he really liked and that he really thought were good players, and this was his way of trying to extract that wee extra 10%, as you say, like
100%. Because I'd say one of those things that you hear managers say is, like, when I stop shouting at you and giving you information, I don't really care. Like, I don't think I can improve anymore. So, as you say, it's probably his way of, like, because he obviously liked Brawley because he played him every week, but Brawley's had enough. And I don't remember what Brawley said to him. I can't remember what exactly it was, but Brawley, when Brawley can lose it as well, and Brawley just shut him down. And I don't know exactly what he said, but Higgsy is like going like this, like walking over to him, and he's every fibre of him is trying to stop. Like,
he's about to turn green.
He's like Incredible Hulk stuff, like, Brawley's just there looking at him, like, and he's going, and then all of a sudden, lad, he runs diagonally. So we're in the middle of Hegarty Park. Hegarty runs diagonally up to the corner, right? Up to the corner. And just starts jumping up and down the spot, roaring, just going, like, for about 2 seconds. And like, this is my first season at Hearts. I'm looking up and, oh my God, like, if I'm afraid of this man, it's just gone through the roof 100 times. Diagonally, I mean sprinted, not jogged up the camera. He sprinted as quick as he could, in the corner. He's roared, jumping up and down for 10 seconds, and then jogs back in, goes, right, boys, come on, let's get it again. As if nothing just happened.
And I remember just sitting up the front, and the usual setup there on the Villa Rose or whatever on the Friday before a game, and you'd be sitting there. I would go through the team and the different setup, whatever way we were going to play in that, and then Higgsy would sort of come in, and I didn't. Again, this was maybe the first time that he's done it, so he's just started off and he just going bang. 2 fists bang on the table, right? So he's, I'm in the front row, so straight away I'm like, Jesus, like, what's coming here? And he just starts screaming, "You!" And it wasn't actually me. It was somebody behind. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Brawley. But he's like, "You! What the?" Obviously, Brawley wouldn't have been there. It could have been McAleer, Caolan McAleer. He always had a.
Is he from Strabane as well? Is he?
Hey,
is he from Strabane?
He's Oma, I think. So
he was soaring the boys from Tyrone.
they got it, like, they definitely got it. But he's like, "You, what the fuck are you gonna do tonight? Are you gonna be the player that you were last week who stepped about and didn't do much? Or are you gonna be the man that I know, the man that I fucking know?" And just, all right. So I was like, oh my God, because you feel like laughing, like, you just feel like laughing because
he's such an intimidating man, but he's got the squeakiest voice in the world. Like.
Yeah, that's it. These huge hands are like shovels, like they're just working the forestry. He just like pulls the trees out by the fucking root. It's like, but he's gone through all this here, and I was like, gee, like. Did
he give anyone else a touch, or is it just
a few other lads got it, a few other lads, but I was that gone from his first thing. I was just kind of like trying to keep in the laughing almost, because he's caught me off guard, right? He's caught me off guard. So then the next weeks, the following week, so I was like, right, I'm preparing myself for this now. I know what he's going to do. and see if you actually just take a second and buy into the passion that he's throwing out. You can. It actually does. It actually is really inspiring what he says. Like if you kind of open up to what he's saying, like he's 100% right in everything that he says. Yeah. But I think just because sometimes players aren't really, some people don't like getting shouted at, don't like that approach.
I don't like being shouted at, especially in senior football, because that's all that fucking happens.
100%. Some boys like to get the wee phone call, during the week. Geez, you're flying high, you're doing this, you're doing that. People don't like getting shouted at. I think that's fair to say that. Yeah. But as a motivational tool, if you can accept it and use it in the right way, it can be a great thing. Like, and it can be really helpful, especially in those moments leading up to things. And that's what I decided. I just did that there. That I just thought to myself, right, look, you know what? He's 100% right here, and he's so passionate, and he loves the club so much, and wants us to do really well. And I often got that from him, after games, especially, because I never felt the relationship with me and him was maybe that strong, as I had with maybe other managers and stuff. But, after games, when you walked in off the dressing room and you did well and you put in a shift, he would look you dead in the eye and he'd give you the high five or whatever. And the slap, you never forgot the slap in the back, I swear. There was a mark there the next morning, but he was there, and he, definitely, as I said, he was so passionate, and he just wanted the club to do so well. And you can do nothing but appreciate that, really, and
I suppose, as you say, he got a reaction out of me down in Limerick at half time when he went bananas at me. But as I said, he gave me my debut. I have great time for him, and he was a brilliant manager. I suppose, if I'm being honest though, when he was at manager in the first division that year, he was under a lot of pressure because they'd been relegated, and they'd full time the season before, and I felt he was a little bit slack with some of the boys in the dressing room. He brought in, and they're Rory Harkin's there now, and but he was there, and Davy McDade was there, and they were both in loan from Derry City, and they didn't really want to be there. And Big McKendy was there, another great player, but was probably, I just felt like we used to get hammered, right? And you know yourself in the dressing room, who's putting in a shift and who's not. So I'm not saying these aren't great players, but Hegarty was giving them a pass, because they were from Derry, and right, fair enough. We probably deserve a touch here, but we're busting our balls,
Do you think he was giving them forcing?
He would come in and say, "Oh lads, I'm sorry about this," more or less, nearly apologising that these lads.
Yeah, so he was actually, maybe because the Derry lads were maybe taking a step down to come and try and help us out. He was giving them a free run.
100%. And that's why, and McKendy had been there for a few years, so. He would still have a go at him the odd time, but it was more so Rory and Davy. As I say, two great players and two lads I got on really well with at the time. But I was just, that's where I was kind of going, hold on a minute. You can't come in here and hammer us and you're giving the boys a free pass, because they're doing everything that you're saying, or that you demand, simple things, just put in a shift, work rate, don't be petulant, do your best. And they weren't. They were great players, but they just didn't really want to be there. We were struggling a bit, and you could see it. So that's where I was a wee bit disappointed, where I was and you're saying you buy into it, you definitely do. But I felt at that time, and I was only a young player, and I was hold on a minute here, you can't have it two ways. You can't be telling us that we've got to do this, and then coming in and telling us we're not doing it, and then more or less saying, Davey, I know you're not getting service, and Rory, I know you're trying to get on the ball, and I'm here. I wasn't.
You need everybody.
That's just me being honest. I wouldn't say it to his face, because I'm terrified of him. But if he watches this podcast now, look, as I said, I'm repeating it out. Great man, great manager, owe him a lot, but I did feel that. And I think if he looked back at that now, maybe he'd handle it differently, but he definitely. But there's that with the Derry boys, isn't there? They are, in many cases, are better players than us, but there's just that thing. Sorry lads, thanks for coming to poor old and Harps and doing us a favour, do you know what I mean? Sorry for naming all these fucking chumps, but I don't mind when they put on a shirt, and there's been plenty of good ones, but there's been plenty of poor ones as well. That's
there's a few. There's a bit.
But last one on Higgsy, just because he wasn't there that long. He resigned halfway through the season, and then James took the job. But you called me the chief, and that was the nickname he put on me. Pure serious. We were training at Finn Park, and I came out of the dressing room, and he was standing at the steps, before you go down. He's like, come here, hey, come here. And I'm over there, like, just chatting. He goes, why does everybody call you the chief? And I think he's messing, like. I think he's messing. So I'm like, I just kind of laugh. And he goes, no, like, why do they call you the chief? And I was like, that's just a nickname, like, Funsty put it on me. It's because the other lad, I, like, literally had to explain it. I'm like, like, some people say, yes, lad. Like, I just go, yes, chief. Like, fucking chief. And he walks away.
Maybe last season. And McAleer had just started his football school, so he's pretty invested in that there, and it's doing really well, actually.
Yeah.
And I always thought McAleer was a good lad, to be fair, and he was obviously working and obviously trying to split the both and try and give time to the both. But he had been late a few times for training and things like that there, just because his thing overran, and to make that journey then from Omagh to Ballafay for training and things like that. So there was this one day we were traveling to Waterford, and whatever, he was texting whoever's on the bus or whatever it was, and he was going to meet us in Omagh. And the bus pulled up anyway, and there was no sign of McAleer. So we kind of waited 5 or 10 minutes. But what actually happened was McAleer was there and texted someone on the bus, and then told them, oh, you're 20 minutes away. I'm going to nip to the shop here, and then I'll be back. So he nipped to the shop, and then by the time that we got there, he had gone to the shop. We were there waiting for him, and then somebody, Higgsy, looks down, you chat to McAleer? Where is he? Like that there, and they were like, oh, he's on the way. He just had to stop and get diesel or something like that there. And he said, and your boy Higgsy goes, fuck it, drive on, they fuck. So he's like, brings McAleer, apparently. He's like, we'll be stopping in or to the voice, we'll be stopping in Dublin. You can get us here. So we drove on to the City North
Dublin for the pre-match.
The City North Hotel.
So
we pulled in there, and McAleer's still not there, right? So we were like,
he backed it off, like.
No, he was on the way, like, but he was fucking raging. So he was, as you would be, like.
It would be like. Geez.
No, you'd be raging. Had to drive the way to Dublin then, like.
And then after the match, to be driving from Dublin back, then, like.
Well, see, we were staying down.
Oh, you were staying down.
I was a Thursday, so we were staying down, and we had Waterford on the Friday night.
So there was really then, if you were staying down, there wasn't a mad.
There was no rush. There was no panic. But we were training that night. So we had this complex booked or whatever. So we had to be there for training. So that was grand. And so we waited there, and I heard felt the bus moving on, like. And we and the boys, we all kind of collectively just went, hey, well, wait, he's oh, there he is. And we couldn't see him, right? We couldn't see him. He was nowhere to be seen. But like, there's his car. There's his car there. And it wasn't his at all, but we were just trying to get him to stay. Like, so bought him another couple of minutes. Higgsy without a couple of fags. Like, flew out. Like, next thing, eventually, McAleer comes, like, lands up. And
was Ollie not in the bus? Was Ollie not in the bus?
No, we were meeting Ollie down there.
Right, grand.
So we got so eventually he got there on the bus, like he's fuming, like he's full on.
Is this in Dublin now?
And that City North Hotel, just outside before Dublin. So McAleer gets on the bus, he's fuming, like proper pissed off, and he sits down, he's raging, he's like fucking giving all that there, and then he turns out like, can you not tell the fucking time?